So, hi guys, I hope we are on. I see that Instagram is already on. So, today's topic will be all about pelvic alignment, pelvic position comparing to spine and joints, hip joints. Because this is a main trouble of a lot of not just yogis, but even though young people, we tend to misalign our spine and our pelvis during the day. We're always sitting or doing asymmetrical movements. So there are probably not too many people among us who haven't experienced any kind of acute lumbar pain, lumbago, or ischias, if you want to call it like that. Although all these pain can have very different causes, so it's very often caused by misalignment, as I already said, of pelvis. And there are two joints which aren't that aware to a lot of us, which connect our spine to our pelvis. They are called sacroiliac joints, SI joints, if you use the abbrev. And they are quite small, quite stable. They don't move much. And the main purpose is the stability. And be right back. So, if you stand, these joints are wedged, so there isn't much movement as if you walk or if you sit. So that's why you usually experience pain during sitting or long standing in one position or lying on your back, especially when your abdominal muscles are soft. So most safest practice, if you have acute pain in this area, is on your back. If you are the person who experience acute pain, make sure you do just exercises which are making you feel good. Don't go over pain. And if the pain even radiates in your leg, make sure you stop for a while, or maybe don't do the practice at all, because you shouldn't experience the pain. So that was it to the theory, and now we can find nice comfortable prone position on our backs, supine. If you have blocks, that's great, keep them handy, keep them close. And today it will be a lot about sagittal plane. So we try to avoid a lot of torsion, all kinds of levers, try to pull ourselves in the twist deeper. And of course, you can do basically all of the postures, even though you have very delicate SI joints, or you tend to get pain in your lower back. But make sure you do both sides of your asymmetrical poses. And what's more important is the joints connect spine to pelvis. So you want to move your spine where your pelvis gets, not any farther down there in your lower part. And vice versa. If you move your spine, you want to move your pelvis with. If you stabilize your pelvis and you aren't opened in the thoracic spine, because that's the place where like 90% of our movement, turning right and left, happens. If the thoracic spine is blocked, so you will get every force you create in your lower back, and you get your SI joints under pressure, and you might experience the pain. So I will remind it almost in every pose, which you should be beware of. And on the beginning, we do some strengthening exercises for a lower back, for SI joints as well, because you want to strengthen not the joints themselves. They are very strong joints with the almost strongest ligaments in the body. The stronger are just in our hip joints. And but you want to decompress them for longer than just the exercise. So you want to strengthen everything around that. Your lower back muscles, your glutes, maybe most important part, and all your muscles which move the hips. So external, internal rotators and flexors as well. And most important, or not at least, belly muscles. So if you have one block, just take the block, place it either where your sacrum is, or in the middle. Depends what you like. You can choose the lowest level or a little higher. Depends on the height of your blocks. So I will choose the middle height, placing my block in the middle of the spine. Either you place your knees together as your feet are almost directly under your knees and a little wider, or if you are experiencing even discomfort in this posture or in every supine position you take, because naturally when we lie on our backs we tend to get a small small angle, like in the lower doses in our lower back, and if we relax, belly muscles can get even deeper, and this might bring discomfort in our sacral area. So you might get somewhere close to sofa or any higher item you have, and place your legs on the sofa. In that case, your lower spine tend to narrow even more, get lower, flatten, and this might get you a very nice feeling of decompression in that lower lumbar area. So either find your pose, close the eyes, relax belly muscles, make sure your face muscles aren't under spasm, and place your hands on your belly or your arms next to your body and open up the palms towards the ceiling. And start to watch your body. Analyze that feeling in your lower back. As you slowly stop to receive any other impulses from the surroundings, focus more on your breath. And as you take deep breath in through your belly and to your chest, feel that energy. A second. And as you sigh it out through your mouth, release all unnecessary tension you might feel. Make every exhale longer than the previous one. And take a last deep breath in, hold, and completely sigh it out. Open the eyes, and if you still feel comfortable with your block under your sacrum, keep it like that. If not, change the area where the block sits, or just place the block completely on the side. We stay on our back and try to release both legs towards the ceiling and feel for a while what happens in our lower back. Slowly place your legs, your feet on the ground. If you're still on block, place your block on side and move yourself back on the mat. Slowly with the breath, as you take deep breath in, make a small curve in your lumbar spine and make space under your lower back. As you breathe out, press very firmly the lower spine towards the mat. And you feel how your sacrum gets in. This is called pelvic tilt, the posterior one. As you breathe in, repeat the bigger curve. Emphasize your lordosis. Your sacrum gets out, belly goes up, As you breathe out, suck the belly in, press your lower back to the mat, and tuck your tailbone in. As you tuck your tailbone in, realize that you press your glutes all together. So press a little more, and as you breathe in, keep on pressing and at the same time elevating your hips from the mat, and then vertebra by vertebra getting higher in your supported bridge. As you breathe out, slowly, first the thoracic spine, then the first vertebrae of the lumbar spine go down to the mat. Try to make a nice spinal wave. Try to feel the difference. And release your glutes. Breathe in. Again, the same procedure. Compress your glutes. Suck the belly in. And elevate your hips, your lumbar spine. And don't go very high. We don't want the very deep back bend. We just want to have a nice line from knees to our shoulder blades. So keep your shoulder blades on the mat. And stay like this. Hold your hips parallel to the mat. And move your right foot closer to the midline. And release your left foot towards the ceiling. Left leg looks up to the ceiling. And press your hips even higher. Squeeze that glutes. Belly is light, active. You cannot really pull the navel in this posture. And slowly release the leg. Hips are still in the air. Breathe in, breathe out, press hips even higher. And place your left foot closer to the midline of your mat. Concentrate on the weight-bearing foot on the left side. And release the right foot towards the ceiling. And press as you exhale your hips even higher. Your arms support your body next to your body. Your hands are on the mat, palms are on the mat. And release. Both feet are knee distance or hip distance apart. Hips are still in the air. You might already feel that a little. And now open up the knees. The knees should be wider, almost as wide as the mat is. But make sure your both feet are still, or both heels are still on the mat. Breathe in. As you breathe out, press your hips high towards the ceiling. Hold. Breathe in again, breathe out, release. Your whole back and hips on the mat. Last time. Breathe in. Again the same wave. Belly goes in. Tuck your tailbone in. Squeeze your glutes and elevate your hips towards the ceiling. Knees are still apart. colon on sides. And as you elevate your hips, your lumbar spine, your shoulder blades are still on the mat. Your palms are supporting you on the mat. Squeeze those glutes. And as you breathe out again, first thoracic spine, then the lumbar spine, and the last, the sacrum. Both legs go towards to the air. Knees are bent, ideally 90 degrees. And depends if you can hold your hip flexion in 90 degrees, that's fine. If not, just move your knees closer to your upper body. Place your hands on your thighs and try to move with your shoulders away from your pelvis. Now your pelvis cannot move anymore with you, so try to really flatten your lumbar spine and make sure there isn't any millimeter free space between your lumbar spine and your mat. Tuck the belly in, and we will do a couple of isometric movements. So we press our hands against our thighs. We don't see any movement, but we can feel almost like we'll want to lift our pelvis against our upper body. So our bellies are very active. We hold for a couple seconds and release. Realize what your sacrum does when you tuck your belly in and when you press your lower spine towards the mat. Again, lower spine is on the mat, belly is tucked in, and press as you press your hands against your knees or your thighs. With every exhale, try to press a little more. So don't forget, breathe. Release. The same thing. You hold your thighs from the outside or your knees. Your palms are facing towards each other. Again, no space between lumbar spine and your mat. Shoulders are released. No spasm in your face muscles. Breathe in, tuck your belly in, tuck your tailbone in, almost as like you want to elevate or lift your pelvis out of your mat, and press your legs against your hands. And release. Make your fists. Place your fists next to each other and place them in between your knees. If you have any pain in your wrist, just take block and place the block in between your knees. That's okay. If you don't have block, use your fist. Breathe in, tuck your tailbone in. Again, the same movement. You don't see any movement from the outside, but feel that compression in your thighs again against each other. And as you breathe out, always push a little more. And release. The last movement Grab your knees from the outside. Looks like this. Stay on your back. Press your lumbar spine towards the mat. Flex your feet. And try to open up your knees against your hands. Almost like you would like to stand up. This is a very, very good decompressive exercise, especially when you have a lower back pain from long sitting or from overwork. And release. Just grab one of your knees and try to get that momentum to sit down. Find a nice position, comfortable seated position on both of your sitting bones. Your spine is straight, and place your hands next to your ears. Make sure your chin goes a little forward and your chest goes a little up to front. Breathe in, belly muscles are active, the lumbar spine is narrow, and your shoulders aren't very high, so more relaxed. And breathe out. As you breathe in, prepare for the rotation to the right side. Again, no levers, no forces, just the active rotation as you breathe out. Both sitting bones are on your mat and your belly muscles are active. As we twist, we should do that from the thoracic spine, because the lumbar spine isn't capable of much rotation. So we usually try to get deeper as we use our hands. That's a passive rotation. But if we don't have enough openness in our thoracic spine, we might get that SI joint distortion. So slowly come back again, breathe in, and as you breathe out, twist to the left side. Just as you are able to, active twist. Belly muscles are active, shoulders are relaxed. And again, back. Last time, breathe in and rotate to the right side. Back. Breathe in and breathe out. Slowly come back to all your fours. And we did it a couple times. This is pretty much basic. Everybody knows that cat-cow. But today we don't focus on whole cat-cow. And as we usually do in every tabletop retraction, so we do cat thoracic spine. We will focus more, as we have a neutral spine, on our pelvic tilt. So as you breathe in, open up your sacrum up. It's the same thing as you do the cow tilt. And your lumbar spine go to lordosis. As you breathe out, tuck your tailbone in. Tailbone is actually sacrum. So If I say tailbone, I mean sacrum and vice versa, so don't get messed up. Breathe in again, tailbone goes out towards the ceiling, and breathe out, suck your belly in, tuck your tailbone in, your pelvis goes to your posterior tilt, and the last time, cow tilt, tailbone goes up, and breathe out, cat tilt, suck the belly in. Keep your neutral posture, make sure your hands are under shoulders, so shoulder distance, and knees are hip distance apart. And as you breathe in, release your right leg behind your body. Your hips are parallel to your mat, so your toes are showing towards the mat. And as you breathe in, make again that cat tilt. Press yourself out of the shoulders and place your knee to your right elbow. Hold. Again, straighten that leg. Open up the right leg, the right hip. Place your leg, press your foot on the mat. And as you breathe in, open up towards the right side. If this is enough stable for you, maybe try to lift your leg towards the ceiling and bend the knee. Try to find that leg. Make sure you don't touch your foot just when you are really ready for your bind. So make it more active. Squeeze and release your foot back to the tabletop. The other side. Breathe in, straighten your left leg behind you, hips are squared. As you breathe out, squeeze your belly in, your left knee goes towards your left elbow. Hold, tuck your tailbone in, nice cat tilt, and breathe in again. The left leg is strengthened. As you breathe out, knee to elbow. Last time, straighten that leg, open up that hip, so your toes are looking to the side. Place your left foot on the ground and open up towards the ceiling. If you're enough stable, go farther and elevate your left leg, bend the knee, and try to get closer with your hand where your foot is. But as I said, no torsion, no pulling, no grabbing in case you aren't really close. It's more active. Squeeze. Make sure your glutes are active as well. Release. The same thing, right leg goes behind. We add on. As you breathe in, make sure your hips are squared. As you breathe out, go to your small chaturanga and make that line of your body not change. Breathe in, come back. As you breathe out, lean forward, bend the elbows and go to your small chaturanga, and your right leg goes up, but no back bend. Make sure your spine stays really straight, and you see that elongation from the top of your head till your right heel. Last time. Breathe in. As you breathe out, bend that elbows, come closer with your face towards the mat and come back. Breathe in, breathe out, still hold that leg and elevate your left arm in front of you so your right leg is behind you and your left arm is an enlongment of your spine as well. Bend the knee. The foot looks towards the ceiling. Don't open up the hip. And try to find that leg with your left hand. It's more about active right glute. Try to press your right leg even higher. You don't need to touch, and release. As you release, cross your right knee over your left knee and lean back towards your heels in child's pose variation. This is again very good decompression pose in case you experience SI joint pain. Move with your arms to the left side or towards your front knee side, and maybe touch your right foot with your left hand and press yourself even farther with your front hand towards your heels and release. Again, tabletop, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Elevate your left leg. Breathe in. As you breathe out, lean forward. Whole upper body and leg are doing one line. No back bend. Little more workout for our shoulders and our arms. As you breathe in, come up. And breathe out. Come down. And press yourself back to the tabletop. Leg is still elevated. Last time. Breathe in, breathe out. Come with your face closer to the mat. Don't relax with your head on the mat. And press yourself for the last time. Make sure you are not collapsing on the shoulders. Your hips are still squared, and elongate your right arm as a contra to your left leg. You feel that enlongment from your heel till your fingers of your right hand. And as you bend the knee of your left foot, press that glute even more and press that heel higher. And try to find that heel with your right hand. No bind. Don't touch. Get just very close in one line. And release. Cross your right or left knee over your right, behind your right knee. Go in some kind of child's pose variation with a cow face legs. And move your hands to the right side of your mat. Stretch your left upper body. And if you have enough stability, maybe touch your left heel with your right hand and press yourself even farther away from the front hand towards the heels. Release. As you have both knees crossed and both legs crossed, tuck the toes if this is available to you. Suck the belly in, tuck the tailbone in, press yourself out of the shoulders, make a nice round spine, and hover your knees over your mat and come to that down dog variation with crossed legs. And first, don't really focus as your legs are or hands are. Just try to walk, cross over right leg over left leg, and again the left leg over right leg. And all the time try to straighten the bearing leg. Focus on the legs first. Warm them up. And keep them crossed. Knees light bent. Now focus on your hands and try to release one and another hand off your mat and stay approximately shoulder distance away apart and press yourself out of the shoulders, bend the knees and try to make that cow tilt. So really try to send your tailbone even more higher and deepen your lumbar lordosis. And slowly move your feet to the down dog posture. Try to bend the knees. Send your tailbone higher. You can stay on your toes. Breathe in. As you breathe out, move your weight towards your hands. Release your right foot under your body. Bend the right knee. And slowly move your right foot between your hands. Release the left knee. Breathe in. Low lunge. Breathe out. Place your elbows close to your body and open up your chest. As you breathe in, look up and pop the chest even more farther and go deeper in your hips. As you breathe out, straighten your front leg and without any help of your hands, lean forward with a straight spine and send your arms behind your body. Breathe in, bend the front knee, low lunge. Your elbows are getting in to your side body and your palms are opening up. A look up, breathe out, lean forward, straight spine, don't go any deeper. And make sure you're bending from your hips. If your hips are tight, maybe you stay quite high, don't go any deeper. If you start to bend from your spine, you either don't feel anything or don't feel it where you should feel that. Last time. And now, if you have sensitive knee, just make sure you put something softer under your knee and try to move your knee on the upper part of your patella. Usually it doesn't hurt that much anymore. Come higher with your hips. And now we play with our flexor of our hip on the left side. When you place your pelvic, your tailbone outside, so you untuck your tailbone, you can get very deep comparing to tucked tailbone and sucked belly in. So suck your belly in, move your pelvis under your upper body, tuck your tailbone in, and in this, lock your left hip in this posture and try to get deeper as you move forward with both hips. You'll probably feel that stretch quite sooner than you usually do with your untucked tailbone. Release. Place your left hand on the mat. Release your left knee to the air and open up towards your right side into easy twist. Again, place your rear knee on the mat and move your upper arm, your right arm behind you. Bend that left knee and try to find your foot with your right hand. Again, no pulling, no pressing, just active flexion and pull yourself out of the left shoulder, release, and place your front leg on the mat, both knees on the mat, lean forward, chest, chin into cobra, breathe out, and as you breathe in, untuck the toes, small cobra, before it was Ashtanga Namaskar, and release through your child's pose into downward dog. Breathe in, release your left leg under your body and place your left foot between your both hands. Place your right knee on the mat, low lunge, arms up, look up. As you breathe in, breathe out, place your elbows towards your side body, and we do the same thing. So breathe in, open up the chest even more, small back bend, look up, breathe out, and straighten your front leg, lean your body approximately 45 degrees. Keep your spine straight. Make sure you move from your hips. Breathe in, elbows are pressed towards the side body and arms are opening behind. Your shoulder blades are getting very close to each other. Look up, chest up, and breathe out. Straighten your front leg, lean forward with a straight spine. Arms are behind your body. Last time. Breathe in, chest out. Your shoulder blades are retracted. Look up and open up even more your hands behind you so your shoulders are open as well. And breathe out. Last time. Straighten your front leg, half split, straight spine. Stay in a low lunge and again try to play with your pelvic tilt. So notice that difference between untucked tailbone, how deep you can get, and tucked tailbone. That you might get trouble with your hip flexor even closer, even sooner than before. So now we tuck the tailbone in, fix, lock that hip in that position. Your glute on your right side is active and try to get deeper. Of course, the belly is sucked in, navel comes closer to our lumbar spine. And release your right hand on the mat. Your right knee goes up. And as you inhale, open up towards your front leg into easy twist. Place your right knee again on the mat. Look behind you. And as you move your knee on, or your kneecap, forward on your kneecap, and flex your foot, then you can start to bend your knee. This is to make sure your knee won't get hard. You try to find that foot without any grabbing or unnecessary pulling or getting deeper in the back bend. This is not the topic today. Of course, you can do that in your practice. That's very, very positive. And you can deepen your back bends and open up your quads. But we want to today to focus more on our pelvis and avoid any deeper external rotation, especially the passive one. The active one, when you activate all your muscles or your stabilizers, isn't that harmful. It's actually very beneficial. But the passive one, it's quite dangerous because you might pull deeper as your joints are ready, and then you might get injured yourself. So we come back on our all fours, lean your hips forward and complete vinyasa with chest chin movement. Untuck your toes and open up into small cobra. Look up. Press yourself into child's pose. Breathe out. As you breathe in, round the spine, tuck the toes, go into your plank. As you breathe out, again, downward facing dog. Breathe in, right leg rises towards the ceiling. As you breathe out, the right leg comes from the outside of your right hand. Now, focus on your left hand. So this will be your weight-bearing hand, but don't release your right hand yet. As you breathe in, your hips are getting higher. As you breathe out, release your rear foot from the mat. Come closer with a bent knee. And now release your right hand and thread your left foot over under your body into half squat. And come slowly back into high lunge. Breathe in and use small momentum as you breathe out to get to one-legged stance on your right leg and complete your eagle legs. The same thing happened with the arms. Left arm goes forward in front of your face with a bent elbow, and the right arm goes under your left arm. So always make sure the leg which is up, and the same arm goes under the underarm. Eagle pose. So get deeper in your hips. Make sure your spine is straight. If this is too wobbly for you, you can use the block from the outside of your standing leg. Sometimes it's even wobblier if you use the block, but you still can stay like this if you need to. Otherwise, try to complete your turn and slowly release. Place your left leg behind you, warrior 3, and come back as you came up into lizard. Place your rear knee on your mat and get deeper in your hips. In this time you should be warmed up, you should have softer hips. So now you can do a little pull. Make sure your knee won't get very quickly very outside of your body. So first, especially when you have troubles with your lower back pain, don't open that hip to the outside. So try to avoid that external rotation, that uncontrolled rotation of yours. If this is too much, again, use the blocks or use your leg. Slowly place your front leg again on tabletop, lean forward. Complete this easy vinyasa of today's practice. We cannot focus on everything. Of course you can make it more difficult for you, do a real chaturanga and up dog or cobra or child's pose, the active one. Breathe in into plank. Press yourself out of the shoulders, belly active, and down dog. The last side. Breathe in, release your left foot into pla. Three-legged dog. As you breathe out, come to the outside of your left leg. Now we know what we're gonna do. So if this is big trouble for you, you can use the block, because this is a hip flexor of your rear foot, the exercise of hip flexor. So of course you can do it like this. Focus on the right hand or outside hand and use the momentum as you get your rear knee closer to your right elbow and thread the rear foot under yourself and maybe open up to the ceiling. Now, as we came here, we have to come back. So elevate your hips. Your foot goes behind you. And we go to high lunge. Lean forward. Breathe in as you breathe out. One-legged standing posture. And again, right leg. Not sure if we did. So now I'm a little confused. I'm gonna do the right leg, but make sure you did the opposite one. So make sure you don't do two sides twice, because that might happen from time to time. So right leg is over left leg and left arm is over right arm. Breathe in, get deeper in your hips. Suck the belly in. Spine should be straight. And release your bind. Lean forward into warrior 3. Hips are squared. And come back. Move your left foot to the outside of your mat. Lizard pose. Rear knee is fixed on the mat. Either use the block or just both hands on the mat. If you want to get deeper, use your elbows. And of course you can use your tight. Just make sure you don't over exaggerate your opening. Slowly come back with your front leg on the same level as the rear one. Complete your vinyasa of your choice. Breathe in into cobra or up dog and breathe out. Stay in child's pose. slowly move yourself towards the middle of your mat. I'm gonna explain what we should avoid, especially in asymmetrical standing postures. So usually we open up the hips, we do external rotation, and we might get that squeeze over our SI joints. Especially when we open up one hip, another one isn't open, and we move our spine forward. Our pelvis has to move with, because we lock pelvis in sitting posture on our mat, and we want, despite of that, we want to get very deep in our forward fold. This might be the posture where you can experience your acute pain. So make sure you're more active and try to actively squeeze your belly muscles and get through your belly muscles deeper in that forward fold. It's actually for every forward fold the thing. So Janu Shirsasana, right leg is straight, and place your left foot from the inside of your right thigh. Place your left knee on the mat. Make sure your spine is straight. Don't use any lever, don't use anything to try to pull yourself. This time, just make active motion through your active belly muscles and through the straight spine towards your foot. So maybe try to go as deep as you can without any relaxation in your lower spine. So keep that spine straight. Your cervical spine is enlongment of your thoracic. The front foot is flexed. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, try to get deeper. Pull the belly in. It can happen that you just stay here and you cannot get any deeper, or maybe even this posture is very, very unpleasant. So make sure you maybe get higher with your hips so your knee won't suffer that much. Find that pose of yours and release. Switch the legs. So Janu Shirsasana on the left side, left foot is straight, spine is in enlongment of our sacrum and our sitting bone. Our pelvis moves with the sacrum as we forward fold basically out of our hips. So if our hips are too tight, we might not get there. If you still want forward fold and you don't have enough open hips, you might bend the knee. So this will help you to keep straight spine and get possibly deeper. So breathe in. As you breathe out, try to suck your belly in and get closer, first with your belly towards your hip, towards your thigh, towards your quad muscles. And first when you really think like, okay, my foot is very close so I can touch it, but I don't pull at all. You can touch your foot, of course, but keep that focus on the crunch in your abdominal muscles. And release. Last easy twist. Place your right foot over your left knee and breathe in into your left arm. Look up as you breathe out. Just hug your right leg. Don't use any passive torsion, because this might feel good. Of course, you can do that if you don't have any health issues, but make sure your pelvis moves a little width. So if you lock your pelvis and your thoracic spine again isn't open enough, you put your joints in the lower spine under pressure. It's always accountable. As you breathe in, try to get higher. As you breathe out, look behind you. Release the twist. Touch or grab the right toe with your left index and middle finger, and straighten your right leg. Try to complete maybe half twist. If this is too much and you cannot straighten your knee, so just keep that knee bent. Otherwise, just try to, you don't need to really use your arm. If you want, if it's easier balance for you, do that. And again, belly muscles are active and your spine is straight. It's more important than straight leg. Okay, release, switch the legs. Left foot over right knee. Breathe in. As you breathe out, hug your upper knee and complete the twist of your choice. Make sure your pelvis moves with your sacrum. And release. Grab the toe of your left foot with your index and middle finger of your right hand and twist behind you. Again, choose the straight spine over straight leg. Always. At least I do that. And most of the therapists will tell you the same thing. And release. Slowly. Again, grab your knees from the outside with your hands round the back and try to get as round as possible. Your feet are still on your mat. Use that passive pulling. Now when your sacrum is on your mat, nothing can happen because pelvis isn't in movement, sacrum is on the mat, isn't moving as well. So now you can use your passive stretch and try to release all the tension from your back muscles and slowly engage your belly muscles and go vertebra by vertebra lower on your back. Pull your knees closer to your upper body into wind relieving posture. We did enough twists, so we will just round the knees from the outside towards the inside. And change the direction of your circles. Last time, press your lower spine towards your mat. Decompress everything. And slowly move either to Shavasana, to last pose, or place your legs on some surface approximately that high as your thigh bones are. I call this Sofasana. This is the best way for most people who have tight hip flexors, but also for people who have hyperlordosis, so exaggerated back bend in a lower spine. They won't get any relieving feeling in Shavasana because you always have to bend those knees somehow to get your lower spine really without any effort placed on your surface under you. So if you have any such a item in close by, feel free to use that, or just place yourself in Shavasana, in that pose. Close your eyes in any variation of your relaxation pose. Let your feet fall apart. Place your hands either on your penguins, so there isn't any necessary force to keep them there, or next to your body with palms open up towards the ceiling. And release every last engaged muscle. And maybe we didn't work out today that much, so maybe you are not sweaty at all, and maybe you just feel very weird kind of support and maybe a little over workout in muscles around your lower back. That should be actually the goal. So you should feel your glutes and your lower leg muscles. Usually these are very good exercises for quadratus lumborum muscle, which is the lumbar muscle which causes a lower back pain. So feel free to stay in this final pose of yours as long as you wish. And focus on longer exhale than the inhale. I hope you get everything out of this practice you expected, and maybe you get to that later when you really need to decompress the pressure in your lower spine. Or I hope not, but in case you experience acute pain, you might maybe get a relief through this practice. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope we see each other next time soon. Namaste.